Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the newest edition of the Generations of the Game podcast. Of course, I'm JP, and of course, I got my co-pilot along with me, the man who makes all the moves, my boy Will. What's up, Will? How you feeling, brother?
Well, I'm good, man. There's been a lot going on, in the world of sports, man, and just in the world. But we here to talk about the sports aspect of it.
Yes, sir. Because we talk about the world, it gets very depressing and
Yes, it
anxiety
does.
level, bruh. I'm telling you, I've been sports, TV shows, movies. I got to music. I got to keep my mind occupied on other things because we know what's going on here, man. Like occupation, this occupation by this wickedness that's going on. But anyway, man, that's a topic for another day and whatever. But let's start off, man. Will, last Saturday, no, actually last Sunday morning, man, 12:45 a.m. A thing comes across that Luka Doncic got traded for Anthony Davis. At first, I thought it was like, come on, man, April Fools ain't until April 1st. Let's stop the nonsense. But then
Mhm.
I started seeing Yahoo. They started having it. Then they showed it on CBS Sports. And then when it got to ESPN, man, with Shams broke it, I said, "Oh, this is for real. This shit's for real." So, well, what do you think about this big trade, man? One of the biggest trades in NBA history. How do you feel about it?
So, I mean, I get it. Like LeBron's not going to be playing forever, so you want to
Mm-hmm.
line up, that next face of the franchise. And historically, the Lakers always make a huge trade to get another star. They got Shaq, Will, the list goes on. Kareem, but this one is a little different for me because from a perspective of like roster construction, it doesn't necessarily make the most sense. You traded your star big for somebody that you could pretty much say does the same stuff as LeBron and even Austin Reeves. um, but of course, he's such a good, talent. You figure it out. You always can figure it out. But now seeing, a few days later, the other moves they made, bringing in Mark Williams, I feel a little different about it. Now they have that post presence, shot blocker, rebounder, lob threat that will excel not only with LeBron, but Luca, but also fill a need. But this trade is still crazy. Like the craziest part is that it came out of nowhere. Like it literally, like you couldn't even do this trade without forcing the computer to do it on NBA 2K because that's how outrageous of a trade it is. Like the Mavs didn't even get the best deal possible if we're being honest. You on mute.
Yeah, yeah, you would think so, man. I mean, wow. I mean, but Will, I will say this. Like you said, I agree with you. I do think the Lakers got better because they got Mark Williams. Like you said, the lob threat. Also, another thing with him too, very good shot blocker, defender. To shoot the ball at maybe 12, 15 feet. He can give you maybe 14, 15 a night, 9, 10 rebounds, 2 blocks. So yeah, they addressed the need. I actually thought they were going to try to get Miles Turner, but I think Mark Williams might be a little better fit because he is a better shot blocker than Miles Turner is. Um, they address some needs. They still need a little bit more. We'll see how I think Luka's going to fit in. They're going to fit in with LeBron. Um, we know how great of a scorer Luka is and stuff. Now I think they go win the championship. Nah, but they can do some damage. I feel as though in the playoffs. And as far as Dallas goes, Dallas is going to be a threat to get to the Western Conference Finals or maybe even in the finals because AD wants to go back to playing power forward. He's back at power forward again. And then when you get Likely and you got Gaff in there and stuff, man, that's That's a hell of a duo at center, and then you put AD at power forward, and of course you got Kyrie and Clay. So Dallas is going to make some noise, man, in the playoffs, man. That Kyrie and AD combination, that's going to be a nice combination, man.
Facts, bro. This is such a weird situation though because Luka's such a great player. You can't say that the Lakers lost the trade, but I feel like Dallas won because they got AD and they still have Gafford, they still have Lively, they still have Kyrie. Like any player you would think they would have maybe had to kind of exchange, they didn't. They literally just shipped Luka out and that was it. You know, like
Yeah, yeah. And Will, like even Jason Kidd, you look at him at the press conference, he was still stunned. Like you look at his face, it was like, what in the hell is going on here?
you know, and now, all the stuff they put in the media about Luca, I feel like he's motivated. If he wasn't serious
Oh
before,
yeah.
he's gonna be serious now. And he lost over $100 million by getting traded. So he's about to be on the warpath, and he's gonna take some of that what Ron has had to do off of him. So Ron is going to be able to, conserve some of that energy for when it really counts in the playoffs. I'm not saying the Lakers are going to make a deep run like you said, but I do think it's going to be interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. And we know Luca can score, man. I mean, geez, last year he scored 73 points, almost had a triple double. Was it 73, 12, and 8? Or
Yep.
73, 12, and 7, something like that. So we know the type of talent Luca is. And let's be honest, Luca is an all-time talent. He really is. He's going down as an all-time great player to talent. And 25 years old, 5 first-team NBA selections, man. The trade is still kind of shocking when you think about it, though. Even though it's almost a week later,
Oh
it's
yeah.
kind of it's shocking, bro. Also, in the world of basketball, Jimmy Butler, Jimmy buckets going to the Warriors. Who was it? Andrew Wiggins. Who are the other two players? I know it was a
Hold on,
three team.
I got it right here. Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, um,
Mm-hmm.
a first round pick. It was like like a huge trade. But as far as what the Warriors shipped out, it was Wiggins and Kyle Anderson and
Yeah,
Lindy Waters the third and Schroeder. Yeah.
yeah. And Schroeder went to Detroit tonight. That I saw earlier.
Yeah, he got
Um,
like waived and then signed with the Pistons. That was a good pickup for them, low key.
backup point guard. He could score. You know what I mean? Just could pass a little bit. That is, I agree with you 100%.
Yep,
Um, Bruh, what do you think about this trade? Does it make the Warriors contenders or what?
absolutely not. And I'm gonna tell you why. They they gave up. I feel like the depth that they did have. Kyle Anderson, good role player, solid pro. Andrew Wiggins was huge in that last championship run. He always guards the other team's best player. That you don't easily replace that. And Jimmy's gotten a lot better offensively, but Jimmy's not necessarily locking people up the way that he did either. You as you get older, you got to pick one. Am I playing lockdown defense or am I scoring 20? Now maybe with his usage coming down, we'll see a little more on the defensive end. But just from what I'm seeing, I don't think it makes them contenders. I think it'll be interesting. I think it's more likely that Draymond and Jimmy, square up in the middle of a game than it is that they win a championship. Just being honest. And that's another reason they still have Draymond. They refuse to get rid of Draymond. Like at this point in his career, what is he giving you if you're competing for a championship? So to be honest, like it's cool. I guess he had to go somewhere. The way he was conducting himself in, Miami. But this is the second trade that I can argue that the team receiving the role players got the better end of the deal. Miami adds Andrew Wiggins, solid two-way player, solid scorer and a two-way player, that adds some much needed athleticism in that lineup. Kyle Anderson, a very good bench player, got the slowest jumper in the league probably, but he can hit, at a decent clip. Um, Rebound, pass, a little bit of everything to his game. Then they added Davion Mitchell.
Mhm.
Now is he, a game changing player? No. But picking him up as a reserve player, versus what he was supposed to be for Sacramento and then Toronto, I think it's a heck of a pickup, and they get a pick out of it. So, all in all, these trades, yes, good to great players have been traded, but these are very lopsided trades. Just from the strength of the numbers, like you getting three players, three serviceable players in the league and a pick, versus another team getting one guy, So
Yeah,
it doesn't move me the way it does a lot of people, but I have to see it. It gives Steph somebody that could take the pressure of handling the ball all the time off of him. So hey man, who knows?
yeah. It also gives them another score too. We know Jimmy. That's why they call him Jimmy buckets. Because Jimmy can get them buckets for you. But the concerns I have with Golden State is they're an older team.
Hmm.
Steph is 36. Jimmy's what, 35, 36. Draymond is about what, 34, 35. So,
Yeah.
those are the concerns that I have, with this team and stuff, man. Is the age factor. Um, I think Golden State will be a solid team, but we'll see what, like you said, we'll see what happens. But they
Yep. And
are old.
then
But go ahead.
their future is somewhat handicapped too because they already extended Jimmy and he's gonna be getting like 60 a year, and
Hmm.
going into like damn near 40.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. But also Brandon Ingram on the move, man, to Toronto. What do you think
Hmm.
about that trade?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like he's just getting kind of shipped around at this point, man. Like, I wanted him to go somewhere maybe that had a chance to make some noise. Cause I don't know, like that he was needed for Toronto, like with the leap that RJ Barrett is taking.
Yeah,
Quickly
yeah.
they got Barrett, Scotty Barnes. They got some young enough pieces. So not that Ingram is old, but he's been hurt a lot, and at the end of the day, he just puts the ball in the basket. He doesn't really do anything else for your team. So that's another one. I mean, it doesn't really move me like that. It's a situation where I feel like they just wanted to, move him. So they just kind of did whatever. But
Hmm.
I mean, he talented player, man. Like I definitely like think Ingram in the right situation, maybe as the third guy, on a contending team, could do something. But
Hmm.
I feel like certain players end up in like a weird spot because they get paid like almost just as much as like the guys that can really change your team,
Hmm.
and they're not necessarily that player, like not as the main guy.
Right, right. And well, man, I got to rant real quick, bro.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you know what it's about, man. You know what team it's about, man. I'm looking at everybody. Well, this has been my life for the last 40 years. It's like going to a bar. It's like going to a club, and you see all the girls you want to dance with, and you don't say nothing. All you do is sit there and look at them and dance with other dudes and stuff. It's how I feel about the Sixers, man. This is how I feel about the Sixers. Because, Will, I'm tired of it, man. There was a player out there I've been screaming for the last week for them to get. I even gave up a first round pick for him, Cam Whitmore. Cam Whitmore would fit in good with Philly. As far as the athleticism, he could shoot. I think he's a star waiting to happen. We didn't even consider even getting Cam Whitmore. I didn't give him a first round pick. We winning all these games now. You know what? You know what my motto was? No hoops for Coop. We can forget about that if they getting Cooper flag. It's like, man, what are they doing? And we get rid of KJ Martin and we get rid of Caleb Martin for cash and second round picks, bruh. Can we once and for? I know we got James Harden a couple years ago. I know we splashed. I know that was our splash signing and stuff. But we could have gotten better. I feel so with Cam Whitmore. If we got Cam Whitmore not getting Cooper flag or going after Cooper flag or tanking, wouldn't have made me feel as bad, man. But I think Cam Whitmore is a star waiting. How do you feel about him, man?
I think Cam is a very talented young player. I don't know, like I'm not saying he won't be a star, but like I'm not sure. I feel like he might be more in that like very talented player range, like almost like a Rudy Gay, like a bucket, really
Mm-hmm.
good player, But I feel like the star thing, like he's got to possibly go elsewhere because he's not gonna get a fair
Oh
shot in Houston with the way that team is
no,
built. Especially now that Amin Thompson is taking that leap. You can forget about it.
bro. Let me tell you something, man. Amin Thompson's going to be is a star. I'm gonna tell you what they're building around. Houston's big three. I think Jabari Smith might be on the market because I think the big three in Houston is Jalen Green, Amin Thompson, and the center. That those
Sengun, yep, yep.
those are he was an all star this year. Those are the
Hmm.
building blocks, and you could just throw in Van Fleet. Van Fleet's an elite player stuff. Let me tell you something, man. That team's gonna be a dangerous team, man. And that Amin Thompson, he's a jump shot away from really being a great, great, great player. I mean, I watched him against the Knicks the other night, man. He could do it all. Handle, even rebound. Great, great rebounder for his size. Block shots, to get to the hole. You saw he had what you call the other day, Robinson on skates the other day on that
Hmm.
one play, man. And Houston's an up and coming team, bro. They're looking real good. Also, man, what do you think about San Antonio's trade with De'Aaron Fox, bro? I mean, coming to San Antonio, and really, San Antonio really didn't give up no assets to really get him. Which I like me and my boy got into this debate last week. It's about they got to give up Steven Castle. I wasn't really willing to give up Steven Castle because I think he's going to be a star in this league in a couple years once he gets his jump shot down and stuff. But but yo, let me tell you something, man. San Antonio's gonna be a dangerous team come playoff time, bro. With Wemby and Fox doing the pick and roll, it's gonna be dangerous. How do you feel about San Antonio going forward?
I'm still shocked that they got Fox without really having to give up much of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, you notice a trend. We're seeing that more and more. I feel like teams don't want to get into or stay in the luxury tax. And they're like, guys that's going to get super maxes now, unless you're a certain guy, they're shipping them out. Um, I like Fox a lot. And so I love
Yeah,
the trade, and I was honestly shocked that they were able to keep Chris Paul too. You know,
yeah.
um, they've got a good bit of talent, and this is how you're supposed to build around your young star. They saw that, Victor might even be a little further along this, soon than they even thought he would be. I feel like we all felt like he could be great, and we saw a lot in year one. But, some of the things you and I talked about, they're already happening. 4 blocks a game, the rebounding, increase, the efficiency from the floor, all of that, and that was playing with, you know, a 50-year-old Chris Paul. You know, now you bring in one of the most dynamic, point guards in the league, and you still have, Vassell, you still have, all the enticing young pieces, Castle, like you mentioned. But man, Spurs is set up to be one of those teams that's gonna give somebody a lot to think about in the playoffs.
I agree, man. I agree. They're going to be they're going to be a tough out, man. They're going to be a
Now,
tough out.
one thing I do want to say,
Hmm.
talking about the Spurs, it was rumored that they really wanted to make a move for Trey Young, and
Woo!
I
Goodness.
feel awful for Trey Young. Outside of your Sixers not really doing anything, I would say that the Hawks, in my opinion, had an awful trade deadline. All they just shipped out. They shipped out the
DeAndre
few.
Hunter.
Yep, DeAndre Hunter having a career year, one
Hmm.
of the younger players on the team. They shipped them out for conference rival to get even better.
Yeah.
They have like outside of acquiring Dejounte Murray, you can make a point that the Hawks have not done anything to help Trey Young. And the Dejounte Murray deal didn't even make sense because that's another damn point guard.
Yep.
You know, like, and when you look at it, they've had some high draft picks. They struck out on a lot of those. Like everything that's supposed to build up the roster and help Trey, it has not happened. You know, I thought he was gonna try to get out of there by this deadline. To be honest, even before these trades, but I'm almost certain Trey wants to be out of there now. Like, there's so many things he's not making the All Star game. Let him go to a market where he'll be appreciated. Literally since the moment he stepped foot in the league, he has been an excellent, player. He's put up, numbers that only a few players in the history of the game have been able to consistently put up.
Yeah, man. He's a walking bucket, man. He can pass.
Hmm.
He got range out the locker room with his jumper,
Yep.
man. I agree, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. With Cleveland getting DeAndre Hunter, that actually makes them even stronger. It makes them even closer
Yep.
to Boston, man.
And that's another team that didn't give up much. I'm like, how the hell is this
No,
happening?
no, no, no. And DeAndre Hunter is a two-way player. Not
Yep.
only could he score, but also he could defend as well. So
Absolutely. That's how he got in the league. Really, that defense.
that defense, right? At UVA, he was a great defender at UVA. But man, I tell you, man, that Cleveland's gonna be a dangerous team. They made themselves even stronger, man. But
Yep.
Will, before we end up wrapping up this NBA segment, bruh, we gotta talk about your OKC Thunder, bruh. You know what? One of my boys actually sat down and watched him a couple weeks ago with his nephew. His nephew watches a lot of NBA, and he told me this. And he's been watching ball for years. He's like, Jay, OKC Thunder have one of the deepest teams I've seen in years. That's what he told me. He said in years, and I was like, wow. Well, let me tell you something, bro. I know the NBA and dynasty talk, but bruh, if they play their cards right, this could potentially be the next great franchise in the NBA. And that's Shea Gildress Alexander. Will. I saw him last night, man. He put on an absolute show. And now Chet Holmgren's coming back. Bruh, I mean, your team right now to me is the favorites to win it all, bro. They have everything. How do you feel about the OKC Thunder, brother, and especially with in my opinion, the league MVP right now, Shea Gildress Alexander.
First, I do agree with you. I think Shea should be the MVP.
Hmm.
Um, but like we talked about a lot, I think the thing with OKC that a lot of people don't even realize is that we haven't really seen the team at full strength yet this season. We've literally
Scary.
always been missing somebody.
Hmm.
Hartenstein was out to start the year. Chet was playing well. Chet went down pretty early. Caruso, was hurt for a chunk of the year. Like literally, there's always been somebody out the lineup. You know, Jalen
Hmm.
Williams, not the small forward, um, the backup big man we have from the
Yeah.
University of Arkansas. He was out to start the year, so now all these pieces are coming back. Really, we got everybody back so far except Chet. Now
Hmm.
Chet's coming back Friday. To be honest, That's the best thing. That's the best news we could have gotten today. I don't even care about any major splashes, but also the addition of Daniel Tice. That's a trade that even though he's a role player, that moves me
It's a good player.
because
It's a good role player. Yeah.
that fills a need. We were thin. And you see, we were like injury away from our big man rotation being nothing essentially, whether it was Hartenstein or Chet out of the lineup. So now we have we've had guards for days, but now we've added that depth, in the post, another a veteran, that's been through some playoff battles and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and Chet. I feel like the league is pretty deep right now, but
Mm-hmm.
Chet was playing at that level where you could see maybe not this year, but next year he was definitely going to be fighting for an All Star spot before he got
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah.
So he's playing confident. You can see he's a little stronger. He's playing tough. He don't have to play the five anymore. Like this team is extremely dangerous, man. Like at any given night it could be anybody. Aaron Wiggins having career nights. It
Eh,
seems like every
bruh,
week.
Aaron Wiggins dropped 41 the other night.
Yep.
I
With like
mean,
14 rebounds.
he was 41 off the
Yeah. You
he's,
got
he's a bench player.
yep. Isaiah Joe might go off any given night. They got a couple shooters you can argue is up there as the best shooters in the league. You have,
Will
two
not
or go ahead, bro.
Well, I want to tell you not to cut you off, bruh. The Sixers still got me pissed with Isaiah Joe because he was easily the
Hmm.
best shooter in that draft, and Doc Rivers didn't give him a chance because you don't like playing young players. Isaiah
Hmm.
Joe could shoot the lights out, and when I see him, man, it pisses me off, man. You should be here in Philly, bruh.
Brother, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I thought he was a steal when the Sixers got him, and I couldn't believe he didn't get a real chance because even going back to his college days, he was always a sniper. You know, um,
Hmm.
that was foolish, but I'm glad it happened. I'm glad we got him.
Yeah, I know you are.
You know, but like we have like multiple guys that really compete and make a difference on defense. On the perimeter and in the post. So they're doing it on both sides, man. I think God willing, everybody stays healthy. They should be in the finals.
Bruh. To me, they're the favorites. To me, they're the favorites to win it all, in my opinion, man. I love watching them play. There's certain teams I love watching play, man, like San Antonio, the Lakers, uh, Boston when they don't shoot as many 3 pointers, Cleveland, and of course OKC, man. I love watching OKC play because you know what I mean? Don't think it's just Shea Gilgis Alexander's giving you 30. He's just a walking 30 bucket.
Hmm.
But they got the pieces to complement him to make him you know what I mean? That gives him a lot of firepower on the
Yep.
bench and in the starting lineup. And that's a team that has maybe no weaknesses at all. If you look at it. And like you said, forgot about Caruso. He's there. Man, they got an embarrassing amount of riches, man. And they will be a tough out come the playoff time. I like Denver. Denver's playing very, very well. That the Jamal Murray's woken up.
Yep.
Westbrook's been good all year. Of course, you got the Joker, the best player probably in the league. So, man, all those people talk about the NBA falling off or this, that, and the third. Let me tell you something. NBA, I understand people's gripes with the 3 pointers and stuff sometimes. I get tired of that too. But however, there's a lot of good basketball and good teams in here. And Will, I can never remember a week full of trades the way we've had this past week, bro. I can never remember nothing like this. So many players moved, good players moved. Like I can't even think about it. I can't even remember a week like this, bro. Which at the
Nah,
trade
bro, this
deadline.
this was unreal. And I think we were probably if we had maybe 30 more minutes, KD might have got shipped out too.
Ain't that crazy?
Yep.
Ain't that crazy?
Insane.
Yeah, yeah, man. Um, yeah, man. So we're looking forward to definitely the NBA season. NBA season started heated up, so we're looking forward to that. We'll also sticking with basketball right now. Let's talk about the college women's game. Of course, as I always say, ladies first, bruh. Um, Iowa beating USC last week, or Caitlin Clark's retirement night. I was really shocked by that game that Iowa beat USC, man. How do you think about USC going forward?
To be honest, man, like I'm not really concerned by it. There's a
Mm,
lot of factors there. You know, it was a huge night for Iowa. You know, celebrating the best player in their program. Um, and USC's back at the top. So in reality, they're getting everybody's best game. With Juju in town. Um, and on top of it, you got to think, man, USC's in the Big Ten, so they travel a lot,
travel a
for
lot,
these
yeah.
matchups. Like, you got to think. A few weeks ago, they was in Maryland. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that over time has to be very grueling, on that team. They'll be all right, man. They got Juju and a host of other talented players. Man, Kennedy Smith's getting healthier, by the week. I think they'll be all right, man. But I I just think some of the other teams that I know we're going to discuss just have a little more.
Yeah. Um, I think they'll be okay too, man. They will be definitely in the hunt for the number one seed. Also, last night, UCLA extended their games to 22 and 0 on the season, man. Uh, you got the bets. Bets in the middle, man. She's a problem. She's a problem for any team. Um, Notre Dame is just dog walking. Who they playing tonight? Well, Notre Dame.
Stanford,
Yeah, Notre
yeah,
Dame is dog walking
bro, that
Stanford
that
right
that
now.
game is insane. Like that. Listen, bro, that's as close to domestic violence as you can get. Like,
You know, somebody to throw in the damn towel in this game,
right.
bro.
Throw two towels.
Throw two towels in there. Throw two towels. And of course, South Carolina, they rolled tonight. Also, Tennessee got a big win, first big win in their illustrious story career in a couple of years, beating UConn tonight
Yep.
at Tennessee, 80-76. So yeah, basketball is starting to heat up, man. Notre Dame, they looking good as we talked about. South Carolina, they're rallied into shape. But can anybody beat UCLA? That's the big question. Especially with Bex in the middle, man. She makes a difference. At 6'7", she's hard to contain and hard to stop. Also, Will, to, on the thing of college basketball, player of the year right now. I think it has to be Cooper Flag right now, bro. He's been on a terror the past, I say, 3 weeks or so. He's turned his game up another notch, man. And of course, the kid from Auburn is good too. Broom is good too. Right now, who would be your favorite right now for College Player of the Year if you had a vote?
I'll be honest, man. So I'm gonna give you a two-part answer.
Mm,
Based on the way they give the award, what you mean to your team and team success is absolutely Cooper Flag. What he's shown us, he was always good, but like he turned it up a notch, and I think we
turn it
can
up a
agree on
notch.
that. But I would say, as far as like what I see, you can argue, and people are going to think I'm crazy. Obviously, he's not going to really have a chance at the award, but you can argue that there's not a player more important right now than Dylan Harper. Literally,
Ooh, ooh, yeah,
Rutgers has a chance against just about anybody when he and Ace are out there, but specifically him. And when he doesn't play, it's like they don't have a chance in hell, even if Ace is playing.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I just wanted to take a moment to really give him, a shout out because he is having an amazing season, man. And Rutgers' record isn't necessarily reflecting that, but it's truly like historic season.
Yeah, yeah. Dylan Harper, man. You saw that in high school. He's a player. Like I said, he reminds me of James Harden. I forgot the other player I mentioned. James. He reminds me a lot of James Harden. And in some ways, he reminds me a little bit of Cade Cunningham too. Maybe not as spectacular as Cade Cunningham could be, but he
Yeah,
does. He has some of the attributes that Cade has. And of
no,
course,
I could
Ace.
see that. A big point guard. The way he can
Yeah,
pass and score. I could definitely see that.
And Ace Bailey, bruh. Ace Bailey did turn it up the past couple games or so. I saw against Northwestern last week. He had 37. So,
Hmm.
you know, he's had his moments, man. He's still fighting his way through the college game, but that kid has unlimited potential, bruh. Like I said, Braun from Auburn. If Cooper Flag doesn't win it, that's going to be he would win the Player of the Year. But I don't think he's going to get like we said. Cooper's going to get. But Auburn is tough, bro. They only lost one game, and that was
Oh
to
no,
Duke.
they firing on all cylinders, man.
Yeah. Even though I got a problem with Bruce Pearl, and I'll tell you about that when we get off the air, man. Like, there's an article that came. Well, actually, you know what? We can talk about it. They said Bruce Pearl was a big MAGA fan. So, I'm like, wow. I didn't know that. I couldn't picture him being that, man. But Bruce Pearl is a good coach. And he got Auburn rolling. He definitely has
Bro,
Auburn rolling, bro.
Bruce Pearl, if I can't remember correctly, he don't have a championship, but he's one of the best coaches, since I've been watching the game. Like thinking about the way he had Tennessee,
Yup.
back when he was there before, he got in trouble, and now, Auburn was you know, pretty much an afterthought not too long ago. Like talking about like in recent history. Um, so yeah, Bruce Pearl, man, he deserves a lot of love, man. Pauls for taking programs to the level that he does.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely done a great job, man. Um, let's go on, Will. While we're at it, let's go on now. Oh, did we talk about the college football playoffs? I think we did. We covered that, right? A
Yeah, we
couple weeks
did.
ago. Okay, yeah, to make sure. Um, Will, all the talking stops on Sunday. Eagles versus the Chiefs. Right now, if I was a betting man, I would not bet on this game because it's like I said. It's going either two ways, in my opinion. If the Eagles jump out to a 14-0 lead on Kansas City, it's going to be hard for Kansas City to come back from that. If the game is tight, where Kansas City and the Eagles play like a one possession game or something, that might favor Kansas City, bruh. But that's a tough game to really handicap. How do you see this game on Sunday?
So I think that the the Eagles defense, it's a tall task for anybody, but the Eagles defense has really shown me a lot this year. And with Brandon Graham trying to see if he can come back and play, if he can play, they have a good a chance as anybody to make life tough on Mahomes.
Yeah.
Now on the offensive side, Jalen's been more mobile than I thought he would be after the knee injury,
Hmm.
which bodes well. And of course with Saquon, because it looks like Kansas City, as great as Chris Jones and some of that team is, they struggle with the run. You
Yes.
know, so if Saquon is able to break a few plays open, like we saw last week, and really damn near every week, um, they stand a really good chance because, of course, there's no debate, and Mahomes, you know, if you had your choice, majority of people would take Mahomes right over Jalen. But Jalen is still a special player.
Yes.
So that gap is not as wide as the gap between Pacheco and or the entire Chiefs running back room and Saquon. So I think that thinking about that and the fact that the Eagles have the better receivers as well.
Hmm.
You could argue that the Eagles have better players at a lot of positions. In the secondary. Like it's a lot. Um, they just have to play their game. Now, of course, man, and not to sound like conspiracy theorists or one of those people,
I didn't want to bring it up.
you are not only playing against Andy Reid, one of the greatest minds that the game has ever seen, Patrick Mahomes, and the referees, right?
Well, that's why I said if the game is tight,
Hmm.
if the game is tight, it might not be your
Listen,
night.
but
I'm
listen, brother,
telling
it's
you.
going to be a roughing the passer or a pass and
That's
interference
it.
that should not have been called. I
That's
can
it.
guarantee you that. I'll be honest. I hope the Eagles run it
Guaranteed.
up. I hope the Eagles run it up, bro. And this is the second. This is a chance at redemption, for the Eagles, man. Like
Hmm.
you're playing against a team that took that Super Bowl from you. They were in it. It was a hell of a game, but Kansas City, they got them in the end. Um, this is what's needed at this point. We've seen what this roster can do, and there's literally nothing else for them to do besides bring that trophy back to Philly.
Right. I Man, like I said, man, I'm staying away from this game, bruh. Because I mean, you covered everything that I wanted to say, bruh. Um, it won't surprise me if it's a three-peat, but it won't surprise me if the Eagles blow them out neither. I think that's unlikely, but it won't surprise me because they're just better all around than Kansas City. I'm about to say the rebounding. That's crazy. The defense is better, I think, or just as good as Kansas City's. Um, Saquon makes a difference. They don't have a running back that, like you said, to cover him. You got better. They're better at every position. Of course, quarterback. You got an all-time great in Patrick Mahomes. So can't count them out. But bro, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Never can count out Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They had 2 weeks prepared for this game. You never know what they're cooking up in the lab. So I'm not going to make no predictions on this game. I think we're going to head it towards a classic Super Bowl, and we'll see what happens, bro.
Yep.
We'll see what
Now,
happens.
I will say though, bro, Mahomes and Andy, as great as they are, they not out there on defense.
That's true. That's true. But you got to remember another thing too. They do have that monster out there in a defensive line named Chris Jones.
They do, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think their defense is as good as the Eagles, though. I think their secondary might be better, a little better than the Eagles secondary. Or the Eagles secondary is great, but I might give the edge to Kansas City. I don't know. Maybe I will. But my problem with Kansas City is they don't have a true number one at the receiver spot.
Yep.
So that's going to be one of the things too. Will, another thing was too. I wanted to backtrack real quick to the NBA, which I forgot about. The Detroit Pistons, bruh. They're a nice up and coming team, and Cade Cunningham definitely delivered. I mean, delivered. Definitely deserved to be on that All Star team, bruh. Because you're seeing the real Cade Cunningham now. He's finally healthy and everything. I mean, he could pass, he could board for his size, and he can score, bro. What do you think about Detroit and Cade Cunningham and their bright future?
I feel like the word star is thrown around like kind of loosely these days, but Cade
Mm,
is like absolutely a star, like absolutely. I mean, we knew he could play. We saw it high school, Oklahoma State,
mm-hmm,
but of course, when you're the engine of a team, a bad team at that, it's
mm-hmm,
hard to find your way, more so as far as being efficient, right? But, you know, Detroit, they made some silly moves in the past, but they started getting it right. Cade and Jalen Doran, that was the start of something. You
woo,
know,
yeah,
Shout out to team final. Doran is, a beast. In the paint. He could improve a lot defensively, but he's a force. And Cade, you can argue that Cade is outplaying just about any guard in the league right now. That's maybe not named Shea.
yes. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And like I said, man, Jalen Duren reminds me so much of Bam Adebayo, man. What I mean, just the style and everything. He's an up and coming star in this league too. And don't forget the one player we ain't talk about that they have is out for the years, Jaden Ivey. Him
Mm-hmm.
and Cade Cunningham will be one of the best backcourts in the NBA.
Listen,
But
and Ivy was starting to come
starting to
on as
come around,
well.
starting to come
Yep.
on.
Yeah, hell yeah. They got some pieces now.
They got some,
And they got the other Thompson twin.
and he's going to come on too.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, the NBA's future is very, very bright with these teams and stuff, man. So we're looking forward to that. Well, Will, I think we basically covered all our bases
Yes, sir.
for this. But you know what? One last thing, we got a couple things before we roll out. first off, man, on I think I speak for both of us on this. Prayers and condolences, man, to the to the people who died in the plane crash in Washington D.C. last week, man, and also the plane crash in Philadelphia last week. Definitely prayers and out to the families, to the victims. That was a tragic accident, both of them, man. It's sad, bruh. So I definitely wanted to make sure we shouted them out, man, and offer some condolences and prayers.
Yep,
Sometimes
absolutely.
we don't have the answers to why something like this happens, man. But only God knows, man. And it was sad. It was sad. Also, bruh, we're dealing with the music world. Of course, late last night we lost Irv Gotti. So rest in peace to him. Of course, hip hop legend in the game. You know, he had his era with Murder Inc. and them. So definitely condolences to him and his family. And everything. And definitely, man. All these people we mentioned, they're going to be missed, bruh.
No, absolutely. Definitely condolences to all the families, affected by both, plane crashes. And
Yes.
definitely the Gotti family as well. Music pioneer. You may or may not have been a fan of him personally, but we
Mm-hmm.
can't ignore the contributions that he made to the art. Outside of the run that Murder Inc. had and all the hits that they had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you really are tapped into the history of music, rap, you may not have had DMX, like the way,
Mm.
without him. I know Leroy Cohen gets a lot of the credit, but you watch the Rough Rider documentaries and things like that. Irv was right there for a lot of things.
Jay-Z.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had Jay, DMX, and Ja Rule about to team up and do an album. You know, he was a star, man. In an era where the quality of music was arguably at its highest, and he had a roster that really, you know, was contributing, on a heavy scale.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, man, you know, back in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, man, Murder Inc. was up there with anybody as far as what they were producing and the music they were cranking out, So, yeah, brother, definitely, man, rest in peace to him. Oh, before we go, McDonald's All American game. That's, I mean, team. How do you feel about this McDonald's All American team, and who do you think was slighted of not being in the game?
So first of all, shout out to all the players that made the game. Huge accomplishment in their young careers. I think overall the rosters are pretty good, but I do think Jasper Johnson, Link Academy, going to University of Kentucky, and Kingston Flemings. I forget what school, but he's going to University of Houston. They're the only two players, in I believe in the top 25, to not make the game. Now, obviously, it's only so many spots, but there was some players that were ranked below them, and I know rankings are not everything, but these are two players that are real, difference makers, and will be difference makers at the next level as well. So I think it's a blip on the committee for them to not make the game.
Yeah. And let me tell you something, man. University of Houston, their recruiting class is crazy, man. You
Facts.
know, Calvin Sampson, man, he can make scraps out of a sandwich. But with this, I mean, he got some players coming in.
Oh yeah.
So, Houston's back to being a dominant power the way they were with Olajuwon. And Sampson doesn't get his just due as a coach neither, bruh. He knows how to build programs, bruh.
You
So,
know why?
oh
You know
yeah,
why? You know, he's a hell of a coach, man. Had Indiana firing on all cylinders while he was there. You know,
yeah.
when your melanin's got a tint, brother, you don't get your just due. You know that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He's a hell, like you said, man. He's a hell of a coach, and now he's starting to get the talent to go along with it. Um, Man, I tell you, let me see who else. AJ just sponsored. Damn it, man, that's the kid never pronounce his name right, man. Jeez, if I used to say AJ, AJ, of course, we know he's going to make it. Cam and Caden Boozer definitely. And let me say this, bruh. I know AJ gets all the pub. He's a talent. He is a he could potentially be a generational talent. But man, let me say, and Derek, and also we say Peterson. Shout outs to him too. He's a great talent too, going to Kansas next year. But bruh, let me tell you something. In my opinion, Cam Boozer is the best player in high school basketball. And if you don't believe that, he showed that to you at the Hoop Hall Classic in Massachusetts, man, of why he is, in my opinion, the best player in high school basketball. Okay, he might not have the athletic ability of a AJ, this AJ or nothing like that there. But one thing about him, he produces. He can score. He's a great rebounder for his size. Man, he's just a special, special player. What do you think about Cam Boozer, Will?
So Cam Boozer is a special player, and what I'm about to say, I don't take lightly because I feel like this player, the all-time great on every level, and you could argue that they don't get their due at the high school level. Just talking high school,
Mm-hmm.
Cam Boozer has been the Tim Duncan of recent memory,
Ooh, ooh,
dominant
ooh.
from year one to now. They won, I believe, the state championship every year. They won the summer circuit. Just I think like every year. I mean, you can't find a more winning player, in this class than him. He and his brother, and
Yeah.
you know the pieces of their roster change. The constant is those two, and I got to give a lot of credit, to Caden as well because he always was good, but he's gotten a lot better now, and he's really making his own name, as well,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
as PG1. And Boozer, he's not loud, he's not all in the camera, so I feel like it gets lost, but he has the highest production, out of any player. And I mean, I think that, his dominance is just not appreciated.
No, no, it's not. It's not appreciated at all, man. And like you said, I mean, and another thing is too, Will, he's played big in the big games. I can never remember a big game where he didn't show out or didn't play well at all.
Even
He's
in a loss.
even in a loss, even in the losses, man. He's played big in big games. And I'm gonna tell you something. That Columbus team is starting to really round into form. We saw last night they played a team that was 18-4, and they beat them. What was it? 101 to like 47, something like that, man. It was something crazy. But there's a lot of talent.
See, bro, that's more of that domestic abuse we was talking about.
That's that, that makes domestic abuse. Domestic abuse, bruh. Because man, I mean, the talent they got. Jackson Richardson, man, who might be the best athlete and leaper in high school basketball. Also, Caleb Gaskins, man. People
Yep.
forget he was a top 10 player. And of course, you got the Boozers. And that's a great high school team. Will, before we roll, brother, in my opinion, I feel as though that the Montverde team that we saw last year might be a top three high school team of all time, in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is look at all the kids who are contributing at the college. And I mean, not as second or third options. I mean, in some cases, they're first options. And I think this team might end up with maybe potentially five first round picks. Rob Wright, Newell, my man at Maryland,
Derek Queen,
Derek Queen, Cooper,
McNeely.
McNeely, bruh, bruh. And remember, Caleb Gaskins was a top what? A top 10 sophomore last year. He barely got off the bench.
Yep, it's true.
He barely. And what's the point guard? The other guard they had there with the big afro. They had the huge
He
afro.
in the SEC. I can't think of his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, man, this team was loaded. And people say, well, Cooper Flagg's numbers, if your numbers would be deflated too if you played on the team the way he did.
Now, anybody complaining about Cooper's numbers, knowing the team he played on, is honestly, I got to be real broad fool. You play with that much talent. If you average 15, you're doing something.
You're doing something. That to me, Will, that's an all-time team, bruh. That's really an all-time team that they had last year. I mean, really nobody really came close to really beating them last year. I think they might have had a game or two where they had a hiccup and it was close. But other than that, man, that team was a well-oiled machine, bruh.
They were, man. I'm still taking K's team over them, though. The,
Ooh, you know what? I knew you were going to say that. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's
I
tough.
don't I don't know. Like, listen, Cooper is a special player. But I'm gonna be real with you, man. I don't know if they have a player that's better than Cade. And you got to remember, I got to pull up their roster real quick.
Moody, I know Moody was on that team.
Yep, all right, here we go. Bro, yeah, absolutely not, brother. Absolutely not. Cade Cunningham, Moses Moody, Ryan Nemhard, Scotty Barnes, Langston Love, Caleb Houston, Dayron Sharp. Bro, literally, like 5 or 6 of these dudes are in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm not mistaken, I think Nemhard's in the league now too.
Yeah, with the Pacers
So yeah,
and
look,
playing
man,
pretty good with him too.
and that's what I was gonna say. All these guys except for I ain't even named Derek Whitehead. Yeah, bro, I'm sorry.
He was on that team too. I thought he.
Yep,
Oh
yep.
wow, where is he
Mm-hmm.
at now? What team is he with now?
He in the G League, bro.
He's in the G. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
thought I thought he was going to be very very
That
well.
foot
He still has a
injury
chance.
messed him up, man.
Yeah,
But he's
yeah,
young.
yeah. He's young. We'll see what happens with him, man. But yeah, bro, that team was for real. That team, but I still say though, it would be a hell of a game between those two.
It would be a game. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a game, but
Yeah,
I just think Cade and might have the edge, man. Like I think obviously we have to see Cooper at the next level, but
yeah,
I've seen Cade at every level, so I know that Cade has a gear that at least puts him close to what looks like he at some point possibly being in MVP discussions, and that's a very special player. You know what I mean? Like Coop, I'm not sure that he will be a number one for a team that does much. And I'm just being honest. I
right.
think he's a he's probably a great number two or number three.
Mm-hmm,
As far as like a team chasing a championship in the pros. But I don't
mm-hmm.
know like what your team looks like. Looking at the player he is today, if he's your best player.
I I think he can be. I think he's showing more aggressiveness. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Even being a two is a great talent.
Oh, absolutely,
So we'll see what happens. But Will, man, great to be back, good brother. Think we
absolutely.
covered all our bases and stuff, man. And hey, man, hopefully y'all still support. Don't forget about us. We still there. And looking forward definitely to the next show. We'll see who the Super Bowl champions are the next time we do this. It's either going to be a three-peat or it's going to be an Eagles victory. No in betweens.
I think
So
they need a parade in Philly.
I won't be there though for it because it's going to be crazy. It's going to be wild, man. You see how they carried on the other night, 2 weeks ago, man. It's going to be wild.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, man, and that kid falling off the pole, bruh. That was sad too. I mean, he should have known better. and to go up on that pole, he greased all the poles down. But still, that's a tragic thing that happened as well to the young man. Who's an
Absolutely.
18-year-old freshman. You hate to see that too. You know, but yeah, Will. Any shout outs you want to do, good brother?
Yeah, man. Capricorn season officially is over. I got to shout out, the Aquarius, and the family. I'm about to have a 5-year-old on Sunday. Shout out to the
Ah,
little one, London.
happy
And
birthday,
then
London.
my uncle Gil, man, he's the day after her, on the ninth. I mean, no, the day before her on the 8th. And then,
Mm-hmm.
of course, one of our favorite, February birthdays of all
Yes.
time, February 11th, a national
Yes.
holiday in my book.
Yeah.
Shout out to the
Yeah.
good brother, um, one of our angels, man, Sammy J.
Sammy, yeah, man, yeah. I guess that's the reason why I'm a pull for the Eagles, bro, because Sam, my dad is Sammy, but I can hear Sammy right now saying, "Oh no, don't jump on our bandwagon now." You know that voice, yeah. You can hear Sammy now say that, man. I just wish the good brother was here to really see, because especially with Saquon, man. Right now, Sammy be going crazy right now, bro.
1,000%. And he's the only reason, honestly, I've been pulling for the Eagles, man. Like the last few seasons, like if it looks like they got a chance to do something, I want them to do it. In
Yeah.
honor of him.
Yeah, man. Sammy be this weekend. He be smoking them ribs somewhere and them wings somewhere. He be doing that, man. Get ready for the game, man. But of course, man, rest in peace to our brother, man. Definitely, definitely, man. But yeah, well, another great show, good brother. Another one in the books, man. We get
Yes,
we get into
sir.
the we get into the we get into the nitty gritty with all the sports. Oh, one more shout out. Shout out, of course, young Quincy Wilson from the Bullis School set another age group world indoor record. Under 18 and under world record, man. 400 meters, 45:66. It's coming on. This is coming on. Oh, and actually, he beat the pros. He actually beat the dude who finished what? He won a bronze. Did he? He won the bronze? Nah, he took fourth. Richards took fourth. Yeah, he beat him. They took fourth at the Olympics and beat a bunch of other pro runners. So shouts to young Quincy Wilson, man, who keeps on doing his thing and keeps on breaking records. So, of course,
Absolutely.
shout outs to him. But yeah,
Young
man,
legend.
that man, the young legend, bruh. The young legend. On behalf of me and Will, we say peace. Enjoy the Super Bowl and basketball weekend. And man, all you're gonna be hearing in Philly is dreams and nightmares. That's all you're gonna be hearing, Will.
They need to play
So
some other shit, brother. They need to retire that.
man, I love dreams and nightmares. But actually Gilly brought that blow the whistle song. So, Gilly gonna be out there blowing the whistle,
Yeah, with
bro.
that gigantic hat on.
Yo, yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. But yeah, man. We'll see you all in the next episode. We say peace. We out.
Peace.